Hey, welcome back to Chat About It, Don't Shout About It with Rachel. I'm Rachel. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Do hit the subscribe button down below. We gather around to talk about things and we chat about it and we don't shout about it because there's lots of screaming and shouting in the world at the moment. My channel is still relatively small, so I wasn't expecting to do an LGBT video this early on, but I really do have to come to the defense of someone. Just before I actually get into the video, where I stand on LGBT, for me it literally ends at LGBT. It doesn't go beyond that. I find the gender ideologies, such as non-binary and all these hundreds of different genders, quite confusing sometimes. That's a whole different video. That doesn't mean to say I'll misgender you or anything like that, but I will call out the bullshit when I need to. And yes, I have been called a transphobe for calling out the bull. So without further ado, let's chat about it, don't shout about it. Remember, keep it polite below. Let's go. So, like I said, I will call out in the LGBT community, and that's what I'm doing today. So this is Alexis. Alexis is a trans woman. She's still in the middle of transitioning. She's very respectable, she's very humble, and she doesn't deny biology. She talks about when she was a man, she talks about when she was a little boy, and she has great respect for women and she treats women respectfully. Everything that she says about us is wonderful. She believes that it's okay to be misgendered, and she really will call things out if she feels the need to. And that's what she's done just recently. She's come to do some damage control against this person. So his name is Stephen Hilton. He is on Twitter. He has opinions about the LGBT community and he will post videos on them. He can be quite conservative. There are, from what I've seen, things that I could potentially agree on, because I sometimes have conservative views about LGBT and I'm not going to deny that. However, what I'm just about to show you, in my opinion, and it's pure speculation, is actually quite defamatory of Alexis.
Got misgendered by a 6-year-old girl, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Mate, off.
So that was, first of all, uncalled for, wasn't necessary. It basically looked like Alexis was shouting her mouth off at the world. She doesn't do that. Let's read some comments and see what people actually thought about that little video. So this commenter said, "Why be vile about this lovely person? They actually don't agree with the movement going on, but you dragged them down for your clickbait. Disappointed in you, as that's bullying." Yeah, I agree, that's bullying. This person commented, "What a grown-ass adult goes onto the internet and has time to tell people that they are obsessing over something a young child said to them that has got nothing to do with biological sex, because there is no such thing as gender to begin with." Okay, so there is more to that comment. I just screenshotted the points that I felt relevant, but it's just ridiculous that this person thinks like this, because Alexis doesn't deny biology. This is something that's been taken out of context, and this is why it's so wrong. But this person actually replied, "If you actually watch the original video, which we will watch in a minute, you will see that it was a funny story, and the OP was actually being very respectful, as they were unaware if the parents wanted the child knowing about trans. So to not offend anyone, the OP just said they were tall." They also go on to say, "The OP actually disagrees with the extreme trans movement, and they themselves have gotten hate from the trans community, even though they are trans themselves for speaking out. It's a shame that Stephen has twisted something so far out of context and tries to get his point across." This person says, "Watch the full minute-long post. As usual, Stephen is choosing what to take from a conversation to suit his narrative. This individual was well aware that it was not her place to discuss gender with a child, and certainly not a stranger's child." And this person also says, "This person actually holds more of the same views as you and calls out the trans ideology." She does. "The video you have taken was a small portion of it and twisted actually goes on how to discuss how she has no place talking to another person's child about trans people. Absolutely agree. And people go on and do it in schools as well, which really pees me off. This commenter says, Stephen, I'm a big fan of you for speaking out about certain topics, but leave this trans woman alone. She's one of the nicest ones out there and she has very similar views to you. Literally, the only reason I follow her was because she speaks out about the ridiculous LGBT BS. I didn't see this tweet originally, only after Alexis addressed it. I agree with you on most things, but not this. Alexis isn't part of the fanatical side and clearly explained in other videos that she wasn't angry or upset, just surprised. A rare wrong one for you. So in my opinion, basically, if the conservative followership that this guy Stephen has are coming forward and saying, hey, leave Alexis alone, then the problem is really him because he's taken something and manipulated it. She did have to do damage control. Let's check out that video.
The negativity and the hate and stuff I get. And generally it just goes over my head. Something has happened though that I do want to talk about because it is bothering me. I'm going to show you the video that I'm talking about, but please let me explain the context of that video afterwards.
Just got misgendered by a 6-year-old girl, and I don't know how to feel about it.
Mate, off.
Of course, I wasn't upset, I wasn't angry, I wasn't bothered that the 6-year-old said to me, excuse me, why do you look like a man? She's curious, she worked something out, obviously it doesn't bother me. The video was basically me talking about how I didn't know how to handle the situation because I'm not her parent. I don't know her, I don't know what her parents wanted to know. I didn't want to tell her about trans people, so I was in a sticky situation, I didn't know how to handle it. That's what the context of the video is about. I'll play you another clip now.
My only response was, I'm just tall. Why did I say that? I didn't know what else to say in the situation. It really, really surprised me.
The way that this person has taken my video and manipulated it and taken it out of context to make it look like it's another trans person screaming about misgendering, and that's what's really frustrating me because it's targeting the whole community. I used to love watching his ex-wife, Laura, I think she's called, and I know she still does social media now, they're no longer together, but I used to love watching her stuff when he was in the videos, and to see him do this and the other stuff he's saying on his content, it's a bit sad. It's frustrating because people like this are taking a few clips from loud trans people, they're taking clips from people like me, and they're twisting it and making a narrative that all trans people are the same, when 99.9% of trans people are just everyday people. They go to work, they buy houses, they fall in love, they get married, they want to have kids, they go on a holiday. They are just living their life and wanting to live a normal life. In every minority, in every group, there's always going to be some bad people. It's unfair to base our opinion on that whole group of people just off a few select ones. And people like this guy are trying to push that narrative that all trans people are bad, and it's sad and it breaks my heart. But I put myself on social media, so half of me is kind of like, these things can happen when you put yourself out there. Take it all with a pinch of salt. It is what it is. I just don't want anyone thinking that context of how he put that video is true. Of course, I wasn't angry or upset by the situation where a little girl asked me why I look like a man. It was just one of those things. It was kind of funny. I was being sarcastic and joking in the video, but it's been twisted and it's okay. Thank you so much for listening, and I'm sorry it's been a bit of a negative video, and I hope you all have a lovely, lovely day. Bye.
You see, she gets it. She's not stupid. She's well aware. She puts her life online, so that does actually put her into the line of what quote unquote attack. But you know, she does get negativity, but this is probably the worst that I've ever seen it. The fact that she's actually got to come out and do damage control because somebody has taken a clip from a video that she recorded and posted onto TikTok and just manipulated it for their own agenda. I mean, to me, in my opinion, as I said earlier on, that is actually quite defamatory towards Alexis because it resulted in her coming out to do damage control, which she shouldn't have to do. It takes one person to take a full swipe, and you know that's it. It can derail someone, but she gets it. She understands that, you know, a child said what she saw, and she was okay with it. And it's just a shame that somebody has just behaved wrongly towards someone who doesn't deny biology, who doesn't deny women, who is like just against like stripping women back to body parts and things like that. Let's watch the actual video that she originally posted.
Got misgendered by a 6-year-old girl, and I don't know how to feel about it. So, as I was pulling up to our house, there was a girl just sat on her bike. I've seen this girl quite a few times, and she's never spoken to me before. She said something that really, really caught me off guard, and I wasn't expecting it at all. I got out of my car, and she said, "Excuse me, why do you look like a man?" When she said it, I was like, what do I say? So my only response was, I'm just tall. Why did I say that? I didn't know what else to say in the situation. It really, really surprised me. She lives on our street, and I think she might have seen me with no makeup on like this, and my hair tied up, and no feminine clothing. So maybe she's put two and two together. Maybe her parents know. I'm not hiding the fact that I'm trans where I live. Some of my neighbours know, so I don't know, but it really caught me off guard. I think that's the lesson of the day for me is that kids are very perceptive and they have absolutely no filter whatsoever. They really do know how to pull the confidence out from underneath the rug of you, don't they? Anyway, I hope you all have a lovely night. Bye!
Exactly. Kids have no filter. They will question things. And to be honest, she handled it the best way that she could have possibly handled it, especially if that's the first time. I mean, just saying that she's tall, that's great, because then that kid can go home and that kid can say to their mum, "Hey mum, I saw a really tall man with long hair. But why is he so tall but has long hair?" And that wouldn't be a problem. And if the mum knows that Alexis is transgender, then it's up to the mum or the dad, whoever the guardian is, to explain it. And Alexis isn't bothered by the fact that she was misgendered. She goes on and she does a little brief follow-up to that video. Let's watch this.
Video called I Got Misgendered by a 6-year-old, and I have a little update on that because I've just spoke to her again. But first off, I just want to clarify that I wasn't angry or mad at the little girl. It just took me by surprise, and I didn't know how to handle the situation because it was the first time for me. I also want to point out why I just said to her, I'm just tall. When she said, why do you look like a man? I said, I'm tall. And it's because it's not my place to tell her about trans people and boy to girl, girl to boy, and all of that. Again, she's not my child, so it's not my position to do that. But I just came out of my house and she was outside again and she went, "You're still really tall." I just responded, "Well, I don't think I'm going to shrink anytime soon. You might be tall one day." And she looked at me and tipped her head and she went, "You're so beautiful." Kids are so pure and innocent and they have no filter, and I love that about them. And they just say what they're thinking, and it's so sweet. So that's my little update. I hope you all have a lovely night.
You see, she says it's not up to her to teach gender ideologies to children. It is up to the parents, and the parents only schools, doctors. I know about that. Don't worry. As a former teacher, I strongly disapprove. You know, this guy just needs to back off and leave her alone, I think, basically. There is some things that she's gone into where she says that it's okay to be misgendered, and I think this is better coming from her than it is from me, so let's watch this video.
I've seen a lot of videos recently of trans women and non-binary people screaming when they get misgendered. So to me, there's two types of misgendering. The first one is purposeful. So if someone clearly sees you're trans and they go out the way to make you feel uncomfortable by using the wrong gender, that is obviously wrong, and I completely disagree with that. And I don't get why there's a need for that. If someone's life's not bothering yours, then why feel the need to comment? However, accidental misgendering is okay. So I literally was with my mum this morning and she was talking to someone else whilst I was in the room and she said he and pointed to me. And it's fine.
For 27 years, my mum knew me as a boy. As a man, I was her little boy, her little baby boy, and I've asked her to relearn and change everything she knows about me, and it's going to take time. And if she slips up, she corrects herself, and that's amazing, and she's trying, and that's all I can ask for. No one's perfect.
You see, Stephen, no one's perfect. Misgendering is okay, Stephen, and she doesn't shout at the world about it. In actual fact, she shows people how to be respectable in dealing with it. Yeah, okay, it may eat her up on the inside if she gets misgendered. People scream and shout too much about being misgendered. She doesn't do that, and yeah, like I said, it probably eats her up on the inside because she does have gender dysphoria and she doesn't deny that. But taking something that she filmed because she found it amusing and she didn't really know how to deal with the situation, so she put it online so that maybe she could actually potentially get some advice on how to deal with this situation, because she doesn't have any children, or at least I assume she doesn't have any children. She just didn't know how to react to it, but she found it really funny. And yet it's okay for you to take something that she said and put it completely out of context and manipulate it and make her look like she's the bad person. In this case, she's definitely not the bad person. And like I said, she's actually one of the good trans women out there who I actually respect, because she has so much respect for herself, she has respect for others, and she will call out the BS when she needs to. I reckon he's probably seen quite a few of Alexis's videos, but saw the bit that he really wanted to use, which is why to get out of context. I reckon he's seen the entirety of that video, realised it didn't fit into his narrative, but just changed it so that it would, and that was wrong. If you had taken somebody else's video, somebody who was screaming and shouting at the world, and you said what you said, that would be factually correct, because that person always screams and shouts at the world, but Alexis doesn't, so it's not factually correct. It's not what she posts online. That's not what she's about. That we all have different views on at the end of the day, and our opinions are our own, but should we really take something out of context as it like that to make someone who isn't extreme look awful? Let's chat about it. Don't shout about it. Don't forget to subscribe, ping a comment below. Remember, keep it kind, and I'll catch you up in the next video. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.